My name is Khalil. I'm from Prevo Biotech. We make ingredients for clean and healthy functionality in processed food. One particular food category that is part of our everyday lives is baked products. And for this reason, we want to have it in the best way possible. Food developers have recently started to improve food products, bakery products, by replacing the saturated fat and replacing the additives with natural ingredients. However, it turned out that those natural ingredients don't do the job, compromising both taste and texture. At Prevo Biotech, we engineer those natural ingredients to do the job. Our ingredient, Vilea, is a saturated fat replacer and a texturizer in baked products. Combining legume protein, natural chlorella biomass, and plant oil, it achieves butter functionality and other key functional properties in bakery. The secret is all about bringing all those ingredients together and combining them in a smart way, building the right biochemistry. We combine them under heat, we form flavors, we form key molecular backbones, and then we form the buttery structure. In the next year, we're going to be validating across 5 bakery products. We're going to be onboarding our first 5 customers, and we're finalizing our partnerships. Then we'll start producing and selling to those 5 customers. We're already working with some of the biggest names in the industry, including 2 large bakery companies, 2 global research institutes, 1 large flavor house, and 2 startups. Usually, companies reach out to us with their templates and their requirements. We develop their product with Vilea, and we start a partnership. So if you're part of a bakery company, or you know a bakery company that would like to elevate their products with Vilea, reach out to us, and let's start mixing. Thank you. So the topic I'd like to raise with the panel is, so we started different development partnerships with companies, and we'd like to start more to have a reproducible product across different categories. But the development is not a one-time thing, and it's expensive. It's expensive and it's long, and it requires investment from both sides. So my question is, how do we break this? I think also, Rodrigo, we spoke about this briefly earlier in one of our exchanges. So my question is, how do you break this collaboration barrier, and how should startups be proactive and find smart ways to collaborate with corporates when it requires a long time and long commitment from both? And how do you accelerate this process?
It's a great question, Khalil. And I think, I think corporates and startups have had a lot of opportunity to collaborate over the past decade. So there's been a lot of learnings. I think it's not so much about clever solutions. I think it's about being very honest and being aware of who's in front of you and what the corporate wants to have out of it and what you can bring in that regard. And then be very, very explicit and clear on timelines and expectations. And it's also about, as a startup, I think, to kind of balance your pipeline, right? I mean, it's fantastic to have a big corporate name on your deck, but at the same time, those collaborations may take a long time. So you might want to also, try to find the smaller companies to work with, and to kind of balance that pipeline in that way and learn as you go while you're preparing for the bigger collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just to add briefly, it's kind of the biggest surprise for a startup company, but like everybody in the end, there is no magic solution, and it will take time and effort to build the relationships, to find the right people at different level, decision makers versus R&D teams that will work with your product, and it will take a substantial timeline. We sometimes jokingly say a pregnancy, depending what product you work on, but it takes time and effort, and it is important to do it well, and it is essential in the end, because this will be the partner that validates your product. So there is no shortcut, unfortunately.
No.
But you came to the right place, Start Life. Mm. And so in the program you're in, you're validating a lot of assumptions. Mm-hmm. At least that was the idea. And so in those assumptions, it's important to showcase them also to potential customers, to all the stakeholders, so potential customers, investors, because then they can understand why you have identified a need, and then likely with your technology you can solve it. And yeah, then if you're, after all the homework, you're convinced of that, you start making application demos, and then you can start discussions with potential customers. But It's a lengthy process, so you really need to want it yourself. And it will not be a very affluent journey in the beginning because there's hardly any money, because investors are also waiting to see whether or not you're successful and if you have something unique and safe and scalable. So until that is answered, it will be a tough journey.
I mean, for me, I think many startups are making the mistake that they are saying that they are kind of the holy grail for the industry and saying we can solve all the issues that this industry has. And that's never true, point number one. And point number two, I think it's way better if you really can create what is the uniqueness of your product and in which application works best, and prioritize that application all the way through. Because of two reasons. If you go to a corporate, let's say Dulan, and you say, my product can work on every different application, and we will say, okay, let's try it, but it's going to take 6 times more in order to test and to realize, okay, actually in application A works best, when we can focus on that one. So if you can already say, this is kind of the best way, and we have tried, and this is the application that I want to focus, then you already narrow down, and then you will already narrow down kind of which are the best corporates to help you in that, which are the ones that have better understanding about that functionality, about that type of product, about their speed to market. And also the more narrow you go, also the more need these companies will have into that specific solution, right? So on that one, you're targeting already way better. And second of that, it creates a lot of time for the corporates to understand how your ingredient behaves. So they don't know anything about your product, and then they start learning. That means that you will need to create your own application work to decide, okay, this is how my ingredient is actually performing. We have tried this one, just formulate that in that one. Do you want to do a muffin, or do you want to do a cookie, or what do you want to do? And then you tell them exactly how to use that ingredient. That will save you a lot of time, and then it will help you to prioritize, right? So that would be kind of a proactive approach that I would suggest.
Okay. Thank you very much.